I'm Chris Como from Devoted Golfer Magazine. We're here at the PGA Merchandise Show in Orlando, Florida. I'm here with Mike Adams, top Golf Magazine Top 100 instructor, Golf Digest Top 50 instructor, David Edel, inventor of Edel putters and now Edel wedge system. And they are launching a new wedge system that is going to be revolutionary. Mike, could you tell us a little bit about it?
Basically what we have found is through TrackMan and FlightScope that the angle of attack of a wedge is between 5 and 10 degrees down. The shaft lean is also between 5 and 10 degrees. So the minimum bounce you can have on a wedge is the 5 degrees of shaft lean and the 5 degrees of downward angle, so it's 10 degrees, and the maximum is somewhere around 20. Well, when we went to the shop, everybody had between 4 and 8 degrees, so there wasn't any wedges with enough bounce on it. So we came up with a concept. There are basically 8 different angles of attack. You're going to be a sweeper, a picker, a pincher, a nipper, a trapper, a driver, or a digger. Each angle of attack requires a different bounce angle. It also requires that you take the bounce and you move it from the back of the club to the front of the club so the bounce engages. So I was working with an unnamed company who had a tour van, and they were making wedges for me. And when they quit doing it, I approached my good friend David Edel with his engineering background and golf pro background and the finest designer of putters in the world. I said, Dave, I have a problem. And he says, well, I have a solution. And we came up with a fitting system. David, go ahead and tell him some more.
So once Mike approached me with the concept about the bounce angles and the issues that he was having as an instructor, we came up with a progressive bounce angle system with sole width and bounce angles to match those, as well as a shaft fitting system that allowed us to control trajectories. So we could not only improve the body motion, match the grind to that body motion, we could also flight the shaft for the particular flight angles that they were looking to develop. So the beauty and the beast is in the variability and the amount of variations that we have to be able to produce this wedge fitting system.
And somebody asked me one time, says, Mike, how do you know? See, what I use is I use a different wedge for each different terrain. I said, these are all terrain vehicles. Basically, not only are they're designed for your angle of attack and shaft lean, but they're also designed to offset what you can't do by grounding the back of the golf club off. So if you're a steep angle attack and you're not good off of tight lies, we've taken that into consideration. It also it enhances what you're trying to do with the club. If you like to hit little flop shots around the green, we take the heel off. You like to hit chip shots with it, we take the toe off. So the club is versatile and allows you to hit every type of shot from every type of lie, and it matches you perfectly.
And we've also been able to move the grooves. So also we've been able to take and move the groove pattern farther out towards the toe. And this was Mike's idea because all the great wedge players are playing their shots off the toe area, and you're not playing it near the hosel, which is where nobody wants to play golf shot. And what we've also done is we've moved our center of gravities farther out so that the middle of the golf club and the groove pattern are in the same exact location. Unlike most of your conventional wedge groove patterns, the toe is completely devoid of grooves, and it moves over to the hosel, and it moves the projected center of the golf club towards the heel.
So we actually have a center percussion because it marries the three centers: the center of the club face, the center of gravity, and the center of the grooves to the same place. So what we've done is, by moving the center of gravity from the heel to the center of the golf club, we now have more solid shots. You can see I can take my thumb and put it in the center of the golf club, and it balances perfectly. If you take your wedge at home and do it, you'll have to do it closer to the heel, or the hosel, which you don't want. So this it's not only going to be more solid, but it's going to be more playable. We thin the hosel out so the club goes through turf better. We've taken the grip and we made it 1.5 inches longer, because you actually want to choke down on the golf club. And like David said, we've got 14 different shafts that have different weights and different trajectories and different spin characteristics. So the engine to the club is actually a wedge shaft instead of the stiffest shaft in the club, stuck it in there, just hope it works. So we can change your trajectory. We can raise it, make it medium or lower. We can change the amount of spin you have on the shot with the shafts. So it's a total system.
David, while I look at these wedges, they look a little bit different in the hosel. They look a little bit thinner, a slightly different shape. Could you tell us about maybe some of the reasons behind that?
So one of the reasons for developing the hosel was so that it flowed into the face, and the hosel felt like a continuation of the club face, and the club face a continuation of the hosel. It also, by tapering, it created a little triangle in this flat spot that subscribed to a concept that I've always dealt with in design, which was the golden ratio. And the golden ratio is predictable geometric symmetry that the human eye finds very pleasing. So this angle turned into a circle that brought it to the center, and it also, like a nautilus shell, brought it back into the center of the golf club, which marries with our center of gravity and our center of percussion. So it's very pleasing to look down at. It also helps produce the radius and the leading edge that Mike and I talked about in the development of the wedge to help with closing and opening of the golf club, that it always produced the radius helped produce a square edge to wherever we were striking the ball towards.
You know, we spent an awful lot of time getting the head right. By thinning the hosel out, not only did it make it more pleasing to look at, it made it more playable. It allows the club to go through sand and rough without any kind of grabbing at all. It also allowed us to move the center of gravity out to the middle of the golf club, so we have a true center of percussion.
David, you got another groove design here. They're punch dots. Can you explain the reason for these?
Here's a concept that has been around, and sometimes the best concept was the first one ever done. And before grooves ever showed up, it was always a punch. It was a punch dot, and it became mechanically very expensive. A guy to do a set of golf clubs would maybe strike a full set of clubs 1,200 times, and so it kind of disappeared for the sake of production. Well, we brought it back because it's actually very viable, and we're allowed to have deeper depths with the dimples as long as we subscribe to the radius that's required on all the groove regulations. So the punch dot is non-biased to direction, as a groove has more bias to club path direction. So if you open a golf club up and the grooves would follow the same plane as the motion, whereas a punch dot is unbiased due to the circular nature and the pattern that we've developed here. It also has we're allowed, with the new restrictions in groove depth and volume, we're allowed almost to go twice as deep on a dot than we are on a groove. So we have more surface area for the grass and dirt to go into the face.
Actually, what we tested with both our cast and our forged wedges with our regular groove pattern, we found that it spins unbelievably. I mean, because we use 18 grooves on the instead of the standard 14 on our cast clubs, and we use 20 grooves on our forged clubs, which creates more spin.
Now, I've hit these. They feel great. Innovative design. Are there any players already having this in the bag?
Yeah, we actually do have some players using it, and we will have a lot more. I mean, right now, Belen Mozo on the ladies' tour is using it. Katie Fuchser on the ladies' tour, and I've had several guys on the PGA tour try them and want to put them into play. They like them better than their wedges, but they're signing big money contracts to their manufacturers.
Great product. Is there anything else you'd like to share with us?
Not only are they phenomenally functional, what they are is they're art pieces. They're beautiful. And we can do them in any color. We can put any kind of shape you want on there, initials. We can make it any way you want it. And so, they'll be the talk of your bag. Everybody that has them, when they're sitting in their bag, people will walk up and want to look at them and say, what is this? I mean, so you got an art piece that's functional and does the job.
And it's about game improvement. I mean, we're not trying to sell wedges. We're trying to make people's games better. And as instructors, we affiliate with strong teaching cores where game improvement is a huge is their whole business. So that's what we want, is people to become better wedge players, and we have created a solution for the golf instructor and the fitter to have those tools in their hands.
Excellent. Well, you guys revolutionized the putting market, and it looks like you're going to be doing the same for the wedge market. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.